Newsmakers. I'm Sarah Davis, and you're watching Fight News Now Extra. Coming up next, we have the hottest headlines from the MMA world, where the tough two Brazil coaches have been chosen. Matt Riddle picks up a fight, and now you can call Ken Shamrock on his cell phone. It's all next, and our MMA panel will join us, so here are your Newsmakers. It looks like Antonio Minotauro Nogueira and Fabricio Verdum are set to face off, but not before they coach the second season of The Ultimate Fighter Brazil. Although nothing has been signed, everybody is on a verbal agreement, and the debut of the season should be mid-March, featuring welterweight fighters. UFC welterweight Matt Riddle is signed to his next fight after Riddle was suspended for marijuana use following UFC 149, where he was a last-minute replacement. He is taking on another fight on short notice with only 3 weeks to go. He'll replace an injured Stephen Thompson and will battle Bassem Youssef in Montreal at UFC 154. And just when you thought Ken Shamrock had reached the lowest of all lows when he punched a female at a mall, he stooped even lower. For only $11.99 per minute, you can call Shamrock directly and have a private and unrecorded conversation with him. All you have to do is be a member of callerchamp.com. Yeah, so those are your latest headlines out of the MMA world. Let's take it over to our panel, John Ramdeen and Robin Black. And guys, $11.99 to talk to Ken Shamrock. Who's calling him first?
That is a great value. Ken Shamrock, you're going to get a ton of stories from one of the legends of all mixed martial arts. Don't you think it's worth the 12 bucks?
Hey, Ken. Yeah, it's Robin Black calling. What the hell are you thinking, dude? This is a rough one. I mean, we can make jokes about him getting stoned with Matt Riddle and coming up with this idea. We can make jokes about sex lines. There's all kinds of stuff. But in all honesty, this guy's a legend. He literally gave his blood to help make this sport. And here we are kind of making jokes about a guy. Really, it's funny, but it's kind of sad because this guy literally built the sport, and he should be better taken care of than this.
I agree. I think the UFC, it should be their responsibility. I know there's animosity between Ken Shamrock and, of course, the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Dana White and Ken Shamrock have had a beef for a number of years, but I think it should be the responsibility of the Zuffa-owned organization to take care of some of the guys that help build their sport, build their brand. And for Ken Shamrock, he was there. And people were watching this guy when nobody else was watching the sport. Ken Shamrock has earned this promotion millions and millions and millions of dollars, and I think he should be taken care of. Yes, it's a little funny that he is charging 12 bucks a phone call, but I bet you it would be pretty interesting, the stuff he had to say.
I mean, I guess that's kind of the thing. If you find yourself in a situation, regardless of what it was you did in your life, and you need some money, you go with what you have some value in. And personally, there'll be people that will talk to Ken Shamrock, ask him all kinds of stuff, but you got to know also, there's going to be guys getting drunk and calling him up and asking him goofy questions about what kind of steroids he took and what he did. There's a certain sadness to this, and you're a historian of the sport. You know who these guys were, how they came up. A lot of the young fans in a sport this young should really not forget to appreciate a guy like this.
Of course, Ken Shamrock fought many times in Las Vegas, Nevada, the home of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. And coming up this weekend, November 3rd, it is the home of the debuting World Series of Fighting. And Robin, you and I have talked about this promotion for the last number of months. They seem to believe that they're going to have 8 to 12 shows next year. I think the most important thing is get through the first show first.
Yeah, and the first show is great. I mean, this is on our network. They've got from top to bottom fantastic fights. And that alone, you got to applaud somebody for. But, you know, the first mistakes you see is guys shooting for the moon. Why don't we start out, do one great show, start to fill the arena, look at the issues that you had, and take it from there. 8 to 12 shows. I'll bet you the house right now that there will not be 8 shows next
You look at the main card, which is going down live right here on Fight Network. You have Andre Arlovsky taking on Strikeforce veteran Devin Cole. You have Anthony Rumble Johnson versus DJ Linderman in a battle that is going to entertain the masses. No question about it. You have Miguel Torres on the card, you have Gregor Gracie on the card, and the debuting Tyrone Spong making his mixed martial arts debut. A loaded card, and really that's all they needed to do. But they didn't stop there. They loaded the undercard with guys like Hani Torres versus Brian Cobb. You have JZ Cavalcante. You have Josh Berkman and Gerald Harris. How can they afford to do this?
The answer is they can't afford to do this. And we saw the same thing with Affliction in the past. You go and you make this fantastic card. And hey, as fight fans, we got to enjoy it. We got to watch it. It's on the network live this weekend. Let's grab a couple beers and let's enjoy it. But the fact of the matter is, you stack a card like this and the math won't add up. You only sell 3,000 or 4,000 seats. You got a TV deal that's only one show deep. The math ain't going to work, but man, there's going to be some good fights.
And we know that the president of World Series of Fighting, Sefo, of course, K1 great, says that he is still interested in competing in both kickboxing and mixed martial arts, and we could see him on the second World Series of Fighting. Is this the sign of things to come?
Yeah, it's crazy. If you're going to be preparing for a fight, you're not going to be doing your job as the promoter and vice versa.
Well, we know the World Series of Fighting will be live right here on Fight Network this coming weekend, as well as Glory Kickboxing's Final 8. I'm going to be watching, you're going to be watching, and I know Sarah Davis is going to be watching too.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good weekend on the couch, watching a lot of fighting. And like they said, this weekend on Fight Network, we'll have World Series of Fighting live from Las Vegas. This is the promotion's first event, and it gets underway at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday night, right here on Fight Network. So don't miss that. And coming up next, we take a look at Bellator 78.